Module 1, History and Styles of Wrestling. In the study of wrestling, it's important to look back at our history. Carvings and drawings, estimated to be between 15 and 20,000 years old, were found in southern Europe. These drawings illustrate wrestlers in hold and leverage positions. Sumerians cast wrestlers on stone slabs at least 5,000 years ago, which is older than all artifacts of ancient sport. The Egyptians refined the activity into a science. Tombs around the village of Beni Hassan, dating to 2500 BC, contain hundreds of wrestling's how-to drawings. For the ancient Greeks, wrestling virtually defined the original Olympic Games as the marquee event. Among the sport's noted practitioners was the philosopher Plato, who had the brawn and the brains to get out of a clinch. One of wrestling's early sports writers was Homer, who recounted epic matches of the time. Some other styles of wrestling? It was noted during the Middle Ages that the sport gained knightly appeal. Henry VIII of England, an avid fan, challenged French King Francois I to a legendary throwdown in 1520. Francis scored a takedown as well as the cross-channel bragging rights. Wrestling also has global cousins in sports such as Schwingen, sumo, kurek, and numerous other styles. The styles of wrestling that are predominantly used in the United States include folk style, which is an American style, and you can see Abraham Lincoln in the photo here, getting ready for a match. Folk style is a style of amateur wrestling practiced at the youth, high school, and men's collegiate levels in the United States. Folk style wrestling has its main origins in catch-as-catch-can wrestling, a classical hybrid grappling style. The ultimate goal is to pin the opponent to the mat, which results in an immediate win. Freestyle, one of our two international styles, is a fast-paced style of wrestling where wrestlers, like folk style, use upper and lower body techniques to score points and defend opponents' attacks. Freestyle is one of two styles used for competition at the Olympic Games. It is also the style used in women's collegiate and Olympic wrestling. Greco-Roman, the other international style. It's similar to freestyle, but Greco-Roman is a fast-paced Olympic style of wrestling practiced worldwide, a great sport for young athletes to develop a feel for wrestling. Wrestlers are constrained to not use legs when scoring points or when defending an opponent's attack.
And so I developed a lot of abilities and skills and fundamental movements in freestyle and Greco that made me very successful in folk style wrestling.
The Olympic styles of wrestling are an extremely important part of developing folk style techniques and skills, and we encourage all families and coaches and parents, if you haven't had a chance to get into the Olympic styles, we would certainly encourage you to try freestyle and Greco-Roman. Let's take a look at some of the presidents who've wrestled. George Washington, Andrew Jackson, Zachary Taylor, Abraham Lincoln, Ulysses Grant, and the list goes on and on, as well as the list of some famous Americans who've wrestled. So who wrestles? In Roman times, wrestling was the favorite sport of the young aristocrats, soldiers, and shepherds. Regardless of age, race, gender, size, or athletic ability, nearly all people can wrestle. Is it like professional wrestling? No. Professional or knockdown wrestling began in France around 1830. At the time, wrestlers would challenge the public for money. It did start to degrade around 1900 due to fixed matches. As the decline in Europe happened, it also marked the rise of Olympic amateurism. In North America, it has experienced periods of popularity, but it is a form of fictional entertainment. Let's talk a little bit about the modern Olympic wrestling. In 1904, freestyle wrestling was introduced at the St. Louis Olympic Games. The longest recorded match was 11 hours and 40 minutes in the 1912 Olympics in Stockholm, Sweden. 3 of the winningest wrestlers in history are the Russian Alexandra Medved, Alexandra Karelin, and the Japanese wrestler Saori Yoshida, each winning 3 Olympic gold medals. Some famous Americans. In 1904, Rob Curry won the 1904 Olympic gold medal. Robin Reed won it in 1924. He never lost a match and pinned every opponent in the Olympics. Doug Blubaugh, who we'll watch a video of here in a second, won the 1960 Olympics by defeating Imam Ali Habibi of Iran. He won by fall. Habibi was a 5-time world champion and the reigning Olympic champion from 1956. Bruce Baumgartner has won more Olympic medals than any other USA wrestler. He won 4 Olympic medals, a gold in '84 and '92, silver in '88, and a bronze in 1996. Now let's go watch a little bit of that video with Doug Blubaugh from the 1960 Olympics against Habibi of Iran. Blubaugh on the right. Gives up a few points to Habibi during the match. Just continues aggressive wrestling. Here you can see Blubaugh is caught on his back. What an amazing effort to keep from being pinned. And here Blubaugh creates the opportunity for himself to win the match. It's kind of neat to see the reaction of one of the fans in the upper right-hand corner. You may never have seen Habibi on his back. So Blubaugh has him in good position but needs the fall to win the match. With some readjustments, Blubaugh earns the fall and wins the 1960 Olympic gold medal. And his sportsmanship here, not arrogant, just a tremendous show of respect to Habibi and everything that he's done for the sport to that point. Let's look at some other famous Americans. Dan Gable won the 1972 Olympic gold medal and was the first wrestler in history to not have 1 point scored on him in the Olympics. John Smith was an Olympic gold medalist in both 1988 and 1992. He also won 4 world championships. He's considered by some as the most accomplished wrestler in U.S. history. Brothers Dave and Mark Schultz won gold medals in 1984. Dave's story became a movie called Foxcatcher. Steve Frazier was the first American wrestler to win an Olympic gold medal in Greco-Roman wrestling. He did that in the 1984 Olympics in Los Angeles. Rulon Gardner made history when he won the Olympic gold in 2000 by beating Russian wrestling legend and 3-time Olympic gold medalist Alexander Karelin. Cael Sanderson won his Olympic gold medal in 2004 after also becoming the first American wrestler to win 4 NCAA titles, going undefeated through all 4 years of college. Jordan Burroughs is one of America's top current Olympians, having won gold in 2012 in London. He's also won 3 world championships in 11, 13, and 15, and a bronze in 2014. Kyle Snyder became the youngest American to win a world championship in 2015 in Las Vegas. He was 19. The next year, in 2016, the 20-year-old became the U.S.'s youngest Olympic gold medalist by winning the Olympic gold in Rio. Adeline Gray was our representative at her weight class in 2016 at the Olympics, but notably, she is one of the world's top women's wrestling freestylers, as she has 3 world championships to her credit. Helen Maroulis became the first American woman to win an Olympic gold medal. She defeated wrestling legend Saori Yoshida, 3-time Olympic gold medalist. Helen also won a world title in Las Vegas in 2015. Here are some other gold medalists from 1972 to present. Wayne Wells, Ben Peterson, John Peterson, Bobby Weaver, Randy Lewis, Ed and Lou Bannock, Kenny Monday, Kevin Jackson, Kendall Cross, Tom Brands, Kurt Angle, Brandon Slay, Henry Cejudo, Jake Varner, and Jeff Blatnick. As of note, Jeff Blatnick also won his Olympic gold in 1984, just a few days after Steve Frazier became the first Greco-Roman Olympic gold medalist.
On August 18th, she became the first American to win a gold medal in women's freestyle wrestling.
Yay! How are you? I'm good.
Congratulations. As the school year began, the staff at Cashel Elementary held an all-school assembly to welcome Helen Maroulis home.
I started wrestling when I was 7 years old. Obviously, I wasn't sure if I could become an Olympian, but I wrote down that I wanted to be one.
My career was able to find the success it had because I had so many women that were role models for me, and so I know how much of an impact that can have. And so, to think maybe if I bring my gold medal and maybe if a little girl gets to hold it and that inspires her to want to chase after her dream, I mean, that's amazing. And so I love that, and I take great joy in that.
A great clip there by Helen Maroulis after she won her Olympic gold medal in 2016. Let's take a look at a few significant dates in wrestling history. In 1983, USA Wrestling becomes the national governing body for amateur wrestling in America. In 2004, the Olympic Games added women's wrestling. In 2014, FILA changed its mission and name to United World Wrestling after the scare of wrestling being removed from the Olympics. All nations of the world united to save wrestling at the Olympic level. Some of the standard equipment used for youth wrestling include a singlet, an ear guard, and wrestling shoes. Some items that are optional but often recommended: a mouth guard, knee pads, or a head cover for someone with longer hair. USA Wrestling's age divisions are broken down into several levels. The copper certification is designed for athletes at the bantam, intermediate, and novice levels. You can check your child's level by looking at the age division based on their birth year. Then you'll notice that what we've also done is created time limits based on the ages of the athletes. This gives younger athletes shorter matches so that they can have more fun and experience with the sport. You can also see that the weight classes for these athletes are closer as they are younger in ages and may have a little bit more weight gap as they get older in ages. Wrestling mats are designed for safety and shock absorption. Here you can see a standard wrestling mat. You can see in the center that there are some black lines, which would be for a referee's position or a starting position, and then also green and red lines where the athletes start in the neutral position. Here's an example of an international mat. While the structure of the mat is pretty similar to a regular mat, the international mats do have some different markings. You can see a zone area in large orange circles around the outer edge of the mat. That zone is to let athletes, coaches, officials, fans understand that in that zone, that means that the athlete is close to stepping out of bounds. In an international styles of competition, this is where a lot of points are scored and the action really does happen. The inner circle is the small orange circle in the middle. This is where athletes would start in the neutral position or on the ground, which is called parterre. There are some differences between officiating and Olympic styles of wrestling as well. We highly recommend all coaches and parents read The Art of Refereeing. This can be found on our website at www.themat.com. If you select membership, select officials, and then select The Art of Refereeing, you'll be able to access this document. This information will explain how officials for the international styles are supposed to call matches. As a coach, understanding the official rules and guidelines will help you better prepare your practice plans and your understanding of rules and calls during competition. As you can see here, the athletes are in red and blue singlets. We have coaches who sit in the red or blue corner, and you can see here blue or red each has a challenge block. If the coach doesn't agree with a call made by one of the officials, they can throw the challenge block in for video review. Here you can see the official who is walking around on the mat does engage the athletes. He will talk to the athletes, tell them what he expects, and you'll see a quick video clip of this in a few minutes. You can see on the far side as well, there's an official sitting behind a small table. This is the judge. The judge will make calls after the official signifies points by either confirming or changing or denying the points that the official called. And then on the near side of the mat, there will also be a small table where the chairman will sit. The chairman is typically the senior official on the mat at the time and is the one who will make this decision if there are any conflicts between the official and the judge. The chairman can take time to call both the judge and the official over to discuss calls. The chairman can also take questions from the coaches. It's important to know in freestyle and Greco that only the chairman should be approached or communicated to by the coaches. So let's take a look at that video clip. Here you can see the official as he's walking around, starts to tell Red that he wanted her to come into more of a standing position. Now Red has been aggressive, scores the takedown. The official scores 2 points. And at the back, you can see that the judge also scored 2 points. Since 2 of the 3 officials need to confirm a score, in this situation, the chairman would not need to confirm 2 points for the takedown, since both the official and the judge have signified 2 points on the score.